know. Bones had a pretty relaxing time. She went to go see her new house with her boyfriend.
Hell yeah.
Alina's thing happened at the end of the game, so I'm more than happy to let people chime in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to wait to see what people said first.
Okay, I do have a couple things. I don't have the whole shtick, but I got something here. As the sun sets and Hatching Day festivities continue, Bones checks in with Reginald about her living situation, and the Arcanist assures that he has another tower that they may share together. He then gives her a necklace to help with communication that's more convenient than a telescription pin. Gallium meets with Roar, speaking as quietly as the boisterous Forge can muster, assuring Roar that he's aware of issues going on with magic and all the such, Gallium pledging to stay with his old friend. Leah speaks to Adanu, catching him up on the state of the world. In it, she learns that the goddess currently known as Ruin used to be known as Change. Mbanje, hanging with Verdi and Vanya, sees Verdi is the center of attention and both dislikes it and is ignorant, depending on who it is. Monty makes him uncomfortable, and he's not able to see that Vanya crushes on him. That's in my notes.
Oh, that was pretty
Okay.
good.
Yep. Just to a quick clarification, Reg is not yet done with the necklace. He said he needs a few more weeks, I think, to get
He
it finished.
said days because she's leaving.
Days, a few more days to get it finished. Just gonna make some notes real quick.
Because she's leaving in a couple days.
She sure is. That covers the broad strokes of the first half of the game. In fact, I would say that it's more than broad strokes. It's a pretty good read on just what's happening with Verdi and those who are vying. Those who are trying to mend fences and those who are vying for their destruction.
Yeah, there was a very awkward, embarrassing exchange in the guild hall with Verdi and Monty, and Vanya convinced Verdi to go to the Hatching Day celebrations with her and her companions.
On a
Entourage?
not date.
No one said date.
No one
Nobody
said date.
date.
No one dare said date.
She just wants to go to the celebration and asked if Verdi would accompany her. That's all. That is what got Mbanje kicked out of the party.
That's what got Mbanje kicked out of the party.
As Vanya excused them and left. Frederick is a burly skeleton man. Jack was, knowing Vanya's luck, he was probably a spellcaster in a past life and is not fit for physical labor. Which I guess brings things to Karn and Alina. At nightfall, Karn made his way back to Little Hands to meet up with Rua and took her flying over to where she was to meet up with everyone. That was at the clinic. And Karn met up with everyone there. Alina was already there, speaking with Salin and getting everything kind of prepared, tending the minor wounded. And after giving Rua the ride of her life, Karn kind of took up a position in the waiting room while she went and did her thing with everyone back there. Sana, that's her name. I was trying to think of the little girl's name.
Oh, yeah, Sana.
And did some magic to pull Sana's tainted memories out, which apparently endangered her life and severely drained her and put her on the brink of death.
Yeah, mortally wounded and
Wounded.
unable to be healed.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
And spoiled her disguise in front of everyone who was there, Ernest and Salin and Alina. But there was a big ball of darkness that was alarming, so Karn boxed it up in stone.
And Alina ordered someone to go get the gunslingers. A couple of the gunslingers she actually, trusts a little bit to go deal with their nonsense.
And then they had a mission to try and get Rua back to Little Hands as fast as human questionably possible. So Karn promptly transformed into a bird. Well, first he transformed Rua into, was it a bunny?
It was a bunny.
It was a
It was a
bunny.
bunny. I don't know what we were thinking at the time, because we wanted like something small that probably wouldn't run away, and a bunny does not fit into one of those categories.
It fit
Like,
into a
you
bag.
You could have just carried her. It would have been fine, but
Yeah,
you
really
decided
would've.
bunny.
Yeah.
Well,
At first, I thought you were going to throw Rua in the sack as is, and I'm like, okay. And then you were like, a bunny, and I'm like, okay,
see,
this is fine.
Karn panicked and Alina panicked right along with him, and we turned Rua into a bunny.
I know, bunny. Why did you turn her into a bunny? Because she'd be easy to carry. She's a gnome.
I'm very glad to know that while you panic, you think in circles instead of straight lines. It's really good information to have shared with me. Thank you.
So, turned Rua into a bunny. Karn turned into a bird. The bunny went into Alina's sack. Alina went on top of the bird, and together they all flew to Little Hands,
Where we met Carrick.
Yeah. So Papa led us down to meet Carrick, the leader of the Koboloi enclave beneath Little Hands. We are now officially like read into their secret society, and Carrick performed a ritual over Rua to, it looks like, bind her shadow self to Karn while she recovered. And it looks like the only way to bring her back, well, there were like two ways, one of which involved seeking out the lost tribe of Koboloi in the jungle and seeing if their chieftain, their priestess, their leader.
Yeah, their priestesses. They were members of that group of Koboloi, but then there was a schism.
There was a schism.
Mhm.
There's always a schism.
It wouldn't be a game without a schism.
So to find these trickster Koboloi and see if their priestess might be able to return Rua to her natural state. There was another option that was mentioned as well, but I can't remember it.
To fill you in, their ancient matriarch, Ciela, referred to as like their mother, they mentioned that at one point their powers were diminished. They as a people became, quote-unquote, diminished. It lost them their ability to have physical forms in the daylight. Ciela went out to find the source and never came back. Her eldest daughter, Tepete, went out to find her, came back mad, created the schism, called herself Queen Grabstab, and took a bunch of these other Koboloi with her into the jungle, following this upheaval. So either you find the really, really ancient one, who no one has seen for a long time, or the somewhat less ancient one, who they are certain is alive and causing trouble somewhere on purpose.
Let me update my to-do list.
Sure. As Carrick completed this ritual, there was a vibrant flash of light, and that's where we ended last game.
Yes.
To that end, I would like to pick up there. Within the den of the Koboloi people, this warren, made out of ramshackle and homey shelves covered in faintly glowing trinkets of all shapes and colors. With these diminutive folk, dark of body but bright of eye, their irises glowing lambent in the dark as they watch you all, crouched about Rua's fading, pale form. Carrick finishes the last final words of his incantation and asks for Karn to reach his hand out to touch Rua. There is a vibrant flash of light which causes the many small folk to recoil. Voices of caution and surprise and even fear among their many ranks. Karn, as the light fades, you see Rua's form frozen, pale, looking less like a living creature and more like a stone statue. Something feels off in your form. A tingling, a buzzing, a strange energy that you're not familiar with. And you watch as this creature whose appearance you've just recently encountered, this form that she shared, perhaps out of guilt or perhaps out of trust and friendship, you see it crumble. First the fingers, then the palm, the wrist, dissipating into a fine white powder.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
As you cry out your words of caution, Carrick places one gnarled brown paw, I guess, on your hand. And he looks at you with his beady little eyes behind his spectacles. Yes, it is okay. She is okay. She will take time to awaken. But she is bound to you now. He gestures toward the pile of dust. And you see the others within the den. They slowly approach. They look worriedly at this pile of fine white powder. This is but a vessel, a physical form, nothing more. It is not the first time that one of us has been wounded. It is not the last time, I am afraid. When the shell collapses, the shadow is left. Within that shadow, the tiniest mote of moonlight that makes us what we are. Against the torches and the sun and the flickering of starlight, that shadow cannot remain. But bound to you, a creature of physicality, she can persist. It might be strange, perhaps awkward, but it is safe. He releases your hand and looks toward you, Alina. What is done, but she is preserved. You do not know me, but I would thank you. We all would, for bringing her home and preventing the worst from coming to pass.
Of course. If you ever need my help, just reach out. I will be here in a moment. Or as quickly as possible.
He looks about to those who have gathered, and then he nods to you. That is a two-way street. You have earned the friendship of the hidden people. In times of trouble, we may be there to aid you, as you have aided us. He reaches a hand out toward you. His withered, kind of gnarly, stub-clawed fingers extended to shake, to hold, to touch your hand.
Yeah, I'll touch his hand.
He clasps it with one hand and then the other and nods slowly at you. This gesture, at doing this, a number of these small folk just sort of swarm in toward the both of you and begin looking at you in earnest, as though they were waiting for some kind of confirmation, some kind of okay to indulge in their curiosity. And Alina, with your dark vision, you see that they are all manner of different shapes and colors and configurations, I guess. Some of them are more vaguely animalistic. Some of them look almost gnomish, save for the slitted nostrils, the kind of bluntness of the face. And it's no surprise that by being in disguise, they may have passed themselves on as locals.
As far as Alina is concerned, they are locals.
I mean, yeah, basically. Carrick releases your hands and looks back toward you, Karn, back and forth between Karn and Alina. Would you mind staying until Rua has acclimated and reawoken?
Of course. Of course.
He inclines her head. He inclines his head. He takes a seat back. He glances at the dust. He frowns a bit, nods, and you two. Well, Alina, I'm assuming you stick around as well.
I think actually I'll ask. Would you like me to stay as well? Otherwise, I'm going to try and do damage control.
Giving it. Carrick looks you over, inclines his head slowly. No doubt what has happened has been traumatic. If you must, I will get your friend acclimated, and if there is something you must know, he will share it, or you can return.
Of course. And like I said, if you need me, I am here for you.
The Alina may want to check on the ball of darkness. These ones left.
That is my that is my plan. Is to
Yes.
check on the ball of darkness and keep those gunslingers in check.
I give Alina a serious face thumbs up.
Carrick nods. You have your duty. Go in peace, friend.
Thank you.
He bows his head, and as he does so, the others kind of part away from you. But these creatures are never more than like 3 or 4 feet at your heels, looking at your armor, looking at your shield.
I am unarmored and only wearing
you
a
are
short.
unarmed.
I'm not unarmed. Alina always wears at least Ilya's short sword. Like she has always got at least a sword on her, but she's not like rocking like a full plate and a long sword. It's just like this is my casual clothes and sword. Casual sword.
Yeah, I forgot you. It was casual Friday for Alina. So they remark, you hear some remarks in common about your sword. You hear some remarks in different languages. You don't speak Sylvan, do you?
Nope.
No. You do hear some phrases in Draconic, the local language. And you sense that they recognize you. You hear the word paladin mentioned a few times. You hear some remarks about your hair, just that fine white hair. They seem... Well, give me an insight check.
Sure.
Group insight.
I'll roll insight just for a vibe check.
Hey, that didn't suck. 15.
15. You get the impression that they're curious by nature, and though not starved for stimulus, they have taken a shine to your physicality as well as your personality.
Fantastic. Alina loves new friends.
Karn, you're still kind of rattled. These folks seem really curious. Yep. Okay.
This one does have some questions for the Carrick regarding memories and the way the Carrick's people feed.
Alina, do you head out as that's asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Karn will fill me in.
Yeah, Karn's got a great memory. So you make your way out of the door, and it closes behind you. As some light conversation is at your heels, you hear Karn bringing up a query just as you leave. Karn, you ask, and Carrick bows his head, nodding.
Oh, the trinkets. Yes. Many, many years ago, we were self-sufficient people. We took from the world the power that made us. It was only a bit of starlight, a bit of moonlight, and the wonder of the world that made us whole. After the diminishing, our physical forms were, well, diminished, weakened. The sunlight could destroy us. And the wonder of the world and that life, that laden, ambient life of the world was lessened by being around people, the humanoids. We could reach out, touch their experiences, live through them, and thereby continue our existence. Many thought us to be demons, parasites, but we strove to give back what we took. Good deeds, favors, in secret, and recompense. And one person, one memory, it is enough to sustain one of us for several months if we sip slowly, if we are careful and ration and do not drink covetously from that well of experience. There are some who must be taught that lesson to mitigate and watch themselves.
But he gestures up and outward.
By collecting many, many of these experiences, we can prolong their use. Only occasionally taking to refill what is lost. Generally, what we take is never lost, only diminished. A favored memory, reduced to perhaps something foggier, more dreamlike, but never gone.
He then looks at you and inclines his head.
Rua had told me what had become of yours. She did not know of your complication. It was reckless to try something on a creature so new to us. I would presume you are here to reclaim what was taken from you.
That had been this one's plan before the Rua was endangered. This one has a question, though.
Yes?
And I'll produce the spell shard that has the instructions on how to fill spell shards and present it to Carrick. Is the Carrick able to draw any nourishment from this?
He looks at you apprehensively, reaches out, and takes the stone. And you see that there's an immediate reaction. The stone, this dull red gem, long and slender, starts to glow with a very faint, pale pink light at the center. Carrick looks it over, studies it, inclines his head and closes his eyes. As this happens, you see the others in the warren have kind of gathered close, and they watch on, just oohs and ahs and curious phrases.
Can I make one adjustment? I had forgotten that when he was at the clinic, he had taken the empty spell shard and concentrated on his memories of flying with Rua in it, and that's the one that I actually wanted to present to Carrick.
Oh, okay. So you present a green, long and slender spell shard.
Sorry about that.
It still takes on a faint, pale glow at the center as he clutches it and holds it. You see his brows kind of twist and not contort, but they lift and you see his image, his body, the outline of him, start to blur a little bit. The shadows seem to twist and turn and pool around his form. As he opens his eyes, there's a slightly brighter glow to the beady amber hues of his. And he inclines his head.
This is a thing of wonder. I felt flying. I heard her voice. I feel satisfaction.
And at that phrase, the others go quiet. All kind of watching, some of them staring at the shard, some of them staring at him, a lot of them staring at you. You can see they've grown comfortable, like sea life becoming acclimated to a diver. Kind of a few feet away, hovering, helicoptering about you, watching on, getting a little close, then getting shy and moving back away.
May I? And I hold my hand out towards the spell shard.
He hands it back to you.
I focus on it. Is the memory still in it?
You kind of thumb through it. You focus on the spell shard. You find that the memory is intact, but some of the details have begun to blur. Some of the stars in the sky look fuzzy. The distant ground below has grown hazy as though a fog has rolled into town. Rua's voice sounds a little bit more distant, a little more muffled, but it is intact. And the sort of diminishing is all too familiar to you. Some of your own memories are disjointed, blurred, distorted.
Yes, Tristan?
How are you?
Greeting.
I feel nonetheless kind of excited by this discovery. And I'll look back at Carrick. This is a spell shard used by a clan of Tabaxi to the south, near a settlement called New Haven.
He inclines his head and nods to you.
Perhaps these spell shards could be useful to the Carrick's people. Useful for feeding and it does not take memories unless memories are given, and the memories remain with the one who gives them. So the one could give many memories into a spell shard without losing the original, perhaps to recharge later.
You see that there are gears clearly turning in the elder's head. The others begin to chatter and quietly whisper among each other. There's an air of excitement, but also caution among them. Everything that has happened so far has been startling and unsettling, upsetting even. But you sense a glimmer of hope, perhaps, among them. Carrick nods to you.
If you can bring more, yes. That would be a great boon to us.
There is a caravan heading south. This one had planned to go with it. This one will speak with the bones about potential trade, perhaps.
The mention of bones. You hear a bit of chatter. Murmuring. Some more firm discussion in a language that you don't understand. Several moments of this go by.
before Carrick nods in your direction. You are a friend to the secret people, the Koboloi. I will trust you to mete out this information as you see fit. Be forewarned. We have few defenses beyond our secrecy. There are no other cities for us to uproot to. The Anzaru is built upon that which has fallen. We cannot sustain another uprooting.
The Bones is smart about such things. The
Her
Bones
name is
will
known
know
to
how to
us.
proceed.
He inclines his head.
She is known to us.
Kind of perk up a little bit at that. That makes things easier then.
He nods slowly.
As Rua awakens, there may be some strangeness. As you stay with us, allow me to get you acclimated as well. There are many things you should know.
And with that, we're going to pull away from Karn and Carrick and the Koboloi den. Alina, you make your way out of the den, out of Little Hands, checking in with Hobble briefly, otherwise known as Papa.
Mm-hmm.
You find the short brown-haired gnome. He's in the foyer sweeping. There's a large stone mound in the center of the main foyer. It has been broken and chipped, and he's kind of
Hey,
sweeping away bits
Can't
and pieces.
smooth that out.
You smooth that out? Sorry. There is a scorch
Grown.
on the floor. There's a
I
scorch
mean-
mark on the floor that he's trying to buff out. It's not working too well.
There might be some cracks in the hallway from the entangle, but
There's
yeah,
some cracks in the hallway, absolutely. He sees you as you make your way out, and brows high, kind of stands at attention.
Oh, welcome back. How did it go? Is everything okay? What happened to Rua?
She is, her soul, I guess I would call it a soul, is safe for what it's worth, but her
What a...
mortal form is no more.
Oh, you see his shoulders fall and his brows go high.
Poor thing's been dusted. Well, I'm glad to hear that she's okay in some kind of form.
We are going to find an answer for this.
Glad to hear it. Rua's, she's a troublemaker, but she's near and dear to a lot of us, Koboloi and on.
You all have always been good to me. And I'm sorry that we brought this to your doorstep. But
It was bound to happen eventually. She's kind of a troublemaker, but she means well. Hard to keep secrets when you're a wannabe adventurer, though.
well, she will be getting some adventure. She has joined Karn.
Oh,
He rubs his chin and nods, vaguely following along.
well, good luck.
Thank you.
He proceeds to continue cleaning, moving some bits and fragments of stone and some of the dusted soot into a dustpan.
Question.
I might have an
Oh
answer.
no, out of character, DM.
I might have an answer.
How long, like time-wise, was the flight here?
The flight here on Eagleback, like a minute.
Cool. So, Alina's gonna do a thing, and it might be dumb, but it's Alina, so that's in character for her. she's gonna kind of just step out and summon her wings and just try to fly back.
Hell yeah.
Dashing full speed, goddamn trained in athletics, like as quickly as she can back to the clinic, and she's gonna try and fly as much as possible.
Okay. Do you have an increased fly speed in this form? Or is it just your movement speed?
I think it's my movement speed, but let me double check.
Even so, you're cutting across the harbor, and that's a massive amount of cutting.
I'm pretty sure it's just my movement speed, but
Okay.
yeah, she's gonna go full dash. She's 1, motivated,
Yes.
and 2, willing to be a little tired.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what? You're out of your armor. You are kind of hyped up, amped up, and you're fucking flying. So you bust your radiant wings out, just these scintillating, ethereal, faintly glowing wings. You flap and bolt into the air, and the city just kind of shrinks below you as you don't scream across the sky. But you are glowing, and you are moving quickly, and people take notice below. You see, well, I'm not sure how focused you are, but on the ground, as you cut across the chaff, over the Merchant Prince's Villa, beyond Gnome Town, across Harbor Ward, those people who are gathered, beginning to celebrate, gathering at the promise of celebrating, take notice. They turn their attention up. They see a sight that is not entirely unfamiliar.
I was about to say, well, the thing
Alina's on her bullshit.
Alina's on her bullshit, and this is probably not the first time she's taken off a flight full speed across town.
Full speed across town.
Oh,
so
the
you notice
Asmar's got her zoomies again.
she got her zoomies again. You cut across and toward the clinic. Off in the distance, in the water, you see one thing does stick out across the flat surface of the ocean, and that is the dark outline of something large just outside of the bay. Its crested, pointed tips of this mound-like shape. It looks almost like a small hill or mountain or island, faintly glistening in the moonlight. You recognize the shape as Aramag, just off in the distance, doing his thing, far off from the harbor. As you swoop down toward the clinic and you see the lights of the city start to sort of light up one by one as the dark gets darker, you land, and only, like maybe a half hour has gone by. In that time, as you catch your breath and recollect and look about, you shoot a glance off to the south and see a small gnome in chainmail hustling down the way. At his side is not the taller, dark-skinned gunslinger Bill, but Tom, friendly Tom, the slightly shorter, slightly paler, and slightly more agreeable of the gunslingers, alone with Ernest. They're off a bit of a ways, and you have the clinic at your back that you can return to, or you can catch up with these guys.
I am just gonna return to the clinic and go to Sana's room.
Okay, you make your way into the clinic, and you see a dwarf near the counter, rifling through some paperwork. It is Lloyd, and he appears to be signing his name in more places. Some of them aren't even like lines to sign on. He's just writing his name and squinting and kind of hemming and hawing. Does not notice you. Not with that roll, it doesn't. You rush down the hall and find that Salin is outside of the room with her back to the door, occasionally looking back into it. Your eyes meet. She lifts a hand and she tucks into the room.
Okay. I will also tuck into the room, but I'm gonna post myself like, I'm gonna leave the door. No, Ernest knows what room this is. I'm gonna close the door and I'm gonna post next to the door.
Okay. Outside the door?
In.
Or
Just
inside?
just inside.
Inside. All right, you get inside, and Solon is there. She plants her hands on her knees. Oh, goodness. Okay, he was easy enough to placate. Certainly very good at signing papers, it seems. How is everything? What is going on?
Okay, so, Rua was very wounded.
All right, that was Rua. Kind of strange, but I'm following.
Yes, so that was Rua. That was her in her more natural form.
Okay, shape changes. Got it.
Shape changers, yes. They are secret, and because
Complete shape changer isn't right.
yeah, basically like fear of persecution and their entire livelihood being destroyed. They're not exactly strong.
Right. Secrecy. Got it.
So, her physical form was destroyed.
Oh, that's bad.
It's very bad. Her soul was saved.
That's good.
Yeah. Died. It was saved, and how to put this? Well, when you need a host for, something that is hurt.
Right, yes, okay. Deep magic things, maybe better suited for a better alchemist. But she's okay, she's safe, that's great. What do we do about this? And she gestures toward the stone ball on the ground. I was told not to touch it. I'm still waiting for Ernest to get his little butt back here with some kind of man with guns.
Yes, the gunslingers. Oh, fucking hell. Ernest is... I beat him here by like a minute or two. And, they are on their way in. And we are going to give that...
Of that. You hear chainmail down the hall.
On their way. We are going to give that to the gunslingers and say, good luck and good riddance. They've got enough with their fancy crossbows, they can fucking deal with it.
That sounds like a plan. I can work with that, yes. Okay, good. Crisis almost over. Wonderful. Glad to hear about her. Not sure what's going on, but I'm glad she's okay. And glad to have this out of my clinic as soon as possible.
Yes, and when we are alone and alone, I will get you more caught up.
She nods curtly as the door behind you opens. Ernest kind of Kramer slides into the room. All right, I got him. Where's the fire? Oh, there's the fire. It's Mitch Stone. This way. Come on this way. Tom, friendly Tom Jackson, comes in at a much more measured and careful pace. He glances at you, Alina, and inclines his head. Looks towards Solon, and you see there's some calculation, some mental calculation happening upon seeing her. He looks back to you, nods to the both of you, and then kind of scans the room before finding the stone that Ernest is kind of like pointing to and kind of hovering around. All right, so as I understand it, there's some kind of close the door behind him carefully. Some kind of artifact, some kind of physical manifestation that needs to be secured. Due to the taps his head a few times, the aberrant magic.
The aberrant magic was able to be isolated by an ally and secured in an orb. The orb was then melded into stone by our druid.
Well, so that's certainly one way to handle the situation. Probably one of the better ones. If you don't mind, he approaches, looks down at the orb of stone, and he crouches down and kind of pokes it a little bit. I could have Melvin take a look at it, perform an alchemic assay of it. Not entirely certain what it is, but strange shit like this is kind of our purview.
I would be happy if you took it out of Salon's clinic and perhaps away from people.
That we can certainly do. Question is where to put it, once we figured out what the hell it is. We can keep it among ourselves. We got a bag of holding we can tuck it into.
I don't remember.
Technically speaking.
I recommend destroying it with fire. Alchemically speaking.
He cocks a brow and nods. Once we figured out whether or not it is safe to dispose of that way, we wouldn't want whatever's inside of it getting outside of it. If that's a thing that can happen with this, I'm not entirely certain. Do you happen to have anybody who might know more about what this is? I was told a very small and very talented arcanist. A very small and very talented arcanist looked into it, made this happen.
Yes, unfortunately, she was mortally wounded in pulling it out.
Kind of glances at Salin, kind of glances back at you. He inclines his head. Right then. Guess we're doing this blind. Very well. We will hold on to this, and I will let you know as soon as we understand what it is. And I will ask you what is to be done with it once we have a solution.
I am leaving the city in 2 days, assuming that Sana is capable and no longer needing my protection. My standing order is to destroy it. Don't study it, don't fuck around with it, don't lock it up for 1,000,000 years where it is safe in a vault. Fucking destroy it.
And we will figure out how to destroy it within 2 days.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. He reaches down, hefts it up, and it's a weighty sphere. Alright, well. Evil is a little heavier than I remember, but this is why I did all that working out. I will be over by the Black Cat Tavern if you would like to touch base. If you have questions, otherwise, if I find answers, I will find you.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, Ernest, pleasure as always. Miss Salin, I was never here, and I have no idea that you know what's going on. Salin kind of furrows her brows and nods a little bit, and remains mum for the time being. Tom takes the sphere and makes his way out from the room, leaving you guys behind.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it seems like the appropriate reaction for what the fuck is going on situation. To that end, just what the fuck is going on?
How much do you know, Ernest?
He winces a little bit, and
So that
you
much.
see you see that, like, that you've caught him in secrets expression kind of cross his face again, and he wavers his hand, little column A.
Right. I was not lying to the gunslinger. Rua's mortal form was injured and destroyed. However, her soul was saved. She will be traveling with Karn for a little bit while we figure out how to fix it.
Oh. Well, she always did want to get out of the city.
Probably not in the way she wanted to, but...
Yeah, probably not like this, but, hey, life gives you lemons.
And, I have let her family know that if they need anything to reach out to me, and I will be happy to help them.
Oh, they could use all the help they can get.
I will never forget what Little Hens did for me.
He nods.
Salin saved my life, but Little Hen saved my life. So, they will be under my protection from now on.
To that end, he cocks a brow, but seems content to let you have this.
I mean, unless they prefer you, which they probably will. So,
Okay.
are you going to the hatching thing?
Well, yeah, crisis is more or less averted. You
Alright.
going that way?
No. I have had too much of an evening, and it's just been a little bit much. So I'm going to give you 10 gold to buy a pretty woman named Edith a drink, or 2, to buy,
10 gold, 5 or 6.
well, that's just the beginning, to buy a pretty woman named Nerexius a drink, or 2, or 7,
You see a smile creep across his face as he tries to not laugh.
and to buy yourself a drink, and hopefully that will cover it.
Oh, thank God. I've been pre-gaming and that shit's about to wear off. Appreciate it.
And I am going to sit out a party, and say I have a cold or spots or something.
I'll let them know you got purple spots and white things on your tongue.
Yeah.
They'll understand.
Actually, tell Nerexius that I will be joining his caravan.
His brows lift up and you see a smile creep across his face. He nods, grinning, takes the gold from you. You'll be pleased as punch. He lifts a hand, turns his back, and begins to make his way out.
Alright, subtracting 10 gold from my sheet.
10 gold from your sheet. So, as you leave Ernest to go do your carousing for you, it's in good hands. Opting to spend the night with Salin, overseeing Sana, you cast your glance across and you see the young lady in the bed, sleeping easy. Her chest gently rises and gently falls. Though her brows are knitted, you see her eyes moving ever so faintly beneath her eyelids, suggesting that she's dreaming.
Oh, Ernest, on your way, before I leave completely.
Ah!
I know. If Jean can be pulled from her carousing, and would be willing to sit watch for a little bit, I would be greatly appreciative.
Oh yeah, I'll get a hold of her.
Fantastic.
Rightio. And his voice kind of gets fainter as he goes down the hall, the jingling of chainmail disappearing eventually. With that, we're going to pull away from Alina and company, and away from Karn and the other thread. And let's see. Where is, right now, where would Leah be right now?
I was gonna say, unless the group decided to migrate en masse, probably still catching up Badanu. I don't remember if there was a mention saying, hey, we're going to the party.
You'd be aware that people had migrated toward a party. You would have overheard, Bones and Reginald talking about this party. Roar, I imagine, is still going to stay in Crosp's office because that makes more sense for him. But at some point, Galleon will get bored and mention that he is also going to see what this party is about and see if he can find his paladin friend. So you're aware that there's a party happening and some people are moving out and about in that direction.
Well, around when the first exit sort of starts, I will probably ask Madano if he still partakes of traditional foodstuffs.
You ask the question, and he goes still and somewhat distant. I have not tasted food in quite so many years. I am not certain if I can taste food anymore. Are you offering to perhaps bring me back a doggy bag?
I'm glad that that's universal.
I would be greatly appreciative of such an act of kindness.
Aim for a specific flavor palette, or do you want just a little bit of everything?
Does this island have elven wine?
I could probably scrounge some up.
Perhaps there is lembas bread.
Possibly. Gnomish party,
I-
so and Leah makes that hand motion of like the scales tipping.
It is a party of gnomes. Oh, if you could procure for me perhaps a piece of chocolate. That would be a satisfying end to this day. It has been a day.
It has been a week in a day.
He inclines his head.
Thank you. I will remain here and wait. You honor the Mother Island, child.
We'll bow her head and go.
As you leave Adonhu behind, you make your way out into the open air, into the out into the open sky of the port town. And that music does not have enough levity to it. You hear riotous noise to the far west of you, beyond the Merchant Prince's villa, which is currently lit up, braziers burning with bright red and yellow flame. You see a number of people are jogging up the street ahead of you and away from you toward the west part of town. The location that you are aware of is the Gnomish Quarter, or the Dwarven Quarter and Gnome Town. Even from this distance, you can hear pops and booms and the sound of deep bass horns being blown far, far away. And you kind of follow the crowd. As you walk and weave through what is now a busy evening street, you do see the tall, warforged paladin is kind of clunking about. Some people are giving him a wide breadth. Some people are watching him gawking a little bit. And like a tourist, his head is on a swivel, looking at the torches, looking at the lanterns, looking at the people, and look at small folk underfoot. As following in his heels, you both, disparate from each other, make your way toward toward Gnome Town. Along the way, your keen elven eyes spot a small entourage of skeletons, a tall, medium-sized. Yo, Vanya, you big or small?
Firmly medium.
A firmly medium, but not firmly built. She's curvaceous, well-dressed, pale-skinned woman with long hair. Nearby is your traveling companion, Verdi.
Join up with them.
You join up with them, you verge to the left, you see the Warforged kind of verges off to the right, his attention caught by a very muscular man with a large sword on his back, barrel-chested. You recognize Odane when you see him, the personal assistant slash protector of Wakanga Otama. They begin to chat and have conversation. Odane seems to point Gallium in a couple different directions. And you observe that as you meet up with Verdi and Vanya and continue on your way westward. The closer you guys get to Gnome Town, the louder and more raucous the sound becomes. There are a number of street vendors who are just finishing up assembling their food carts and their their merchant carts, merch carts. You see a number of amusement games have been set up in various spots all across this part of town. Loud. That was loud.
I hear nothing.
I was gonna say, it came
Nothing.
didn't come through the speaker, so
I hear music.
All right, some people hear music. Excellent. You guys hear street performers beginning to play music, noodling at their instruments, improvising, tuning guitars, double checking their flutes. The party has begun, but it seems like not everyone is ready. So you're seeing kind of the ugly shit happening. It's nonetheless festive and amusing to see, someone break a string on their lute, someone have to empty the spit valve on their pipe instrument. So I've got Leah, Verdi, some skeletons, and Vanya all together in one group. As I understand it, Biff, Incognitus, and Heldy were in another group.
Yeah, Biff and Incognitus are definitely watching Hildy harass Gerald. I think that's where we left off last time.
Oh yeah. So while you three are making your way toward the celebration, Heldy, you've been pre-gaming with these guys, pointing out a lot of the stalls and attractions that were present last year that you kind of identify as being, oh yeah, this is a return thing. This is something new. And you guys are kind of traipsing around town, grabbing drinks as you do. Eventually, this other group, you make your way to a large, open spot on the park in the middle of Gnome Town, where you see a podium has been erected. And people are preparing to step up and make announcements, make speeches, call out, and actually begin the festivity. And it is just a tumbling mess. People are starting to party before the opening announcements of there being a party has been said. There's a lot of drinking. There's a lot of eating. People, sampling food before it's finished and there's a lot of small folk and actually a number of kids running around this late at night. This late at night, it's not too late. It's about 8. It's about 9 at this point. Verdi, Vanya, and Leah, likewise, you begin to make your way toward this main encampment, this park, which houses a number of attractions as well as a large podium where people are beginning to gather and prepare to start the party that's already started. Bones, you managed to convince Reginald to make their way out.
There were promises of a lot of caffeine. A lot of caffeine was
Promise
promised.
of caffeine. So cutting to you guys, Reginald leads you at first into the Merchant Prince's villa, up along a set of stairs and through a long and well-kept circular curving walkway, almost like a cul-de-sac, toward a break in the wall that surrounds it, which leads out onto an overland bridge, long and wide, toward a small island just outside of Port Yanzer. The channel that sweeps between it is easily swimmable, but the bluffs around it are somewhat dangerous and steep, hence the bridge. As you approach what had once been a derelict lighthouse has now been restored, rebuilt, and extended upward. At the very top, there's still a bright light that gleams. It still retains some function as a lighthouse, but rather than pointing out toward the sea, it is just a faint glow that gets brighter and brighter the darker it gets. Reginald leads you into this large cylindrical building, the interior of which is well appointed, and scholarly. The floor is this polished marble. There are several staircases that lead up, intertwining two floors above. On the first floor, there are bookshelves and cauldrons and a great many tools. It appears to be a workshop on the very first floor. And he begins to lead you upstairs. And it is a hike. It is a hike, and you've been walking all day, but you know what? This might be home soon, so you may as well get used to it. And he says as much. So I hope you like stairs.
You did this so that I wouldn't climb through your window anymore, didn't you?
No. I mean, it's not. It's a happy accident. It just so happens to be that way.
It's gonna be a lot harder to sneak in here.
Oh yeah. Up to a second floor, there appears to be a library and alchemical tools and workplaces. Up yet further, upon the third floor, appears to be a living space, and it is behind a locked oak door. He quickly goes through, unlocks it, opens it up, and you see a great number of boxes, crates, barrels, full of his shit. All of his tools, all of his books, all of his accoutrement, even his, what's left of his wine cabinet, there's some broken things, is all kind of scattered and put aside. Within this top floor, there appears to be a loft, sort of a half floor above it, looking out toward the sea. And there's a cozy spot, a room that's put aside, that appears to be a bedroom. He moves off to like a side room and pulls out a decanter. And with a few words and a few wiggles of his fingers, you start to smell rich and aromatic and very well caffeinated coffee.
I've never tried coffee.
Oh, well, you wanted to stay up. This is how we stay up.
Alright, I'll give it a shot.
So, he pours you a cup. How does Bones react to black coffee?
So, probably makes a face, but she is not actually, she doesn't hate, like, bitter taste, so it's fine. We'll see how the caffeine affects her in a minute, I'm sure.
Sure. So he goes on to explain, back at the Lyceum, when I spent a little bit of time there, I was hopping from school to school, as you know. They had these cups, and every so often, when you took a sip of the cup, it would be full of coffee, and sometimes, if you weren't lucky, there would be no coffee. But I guess it was something that the second-year students, they would have to create one of these to pass one of their classes. Some of them were absolutely terrible. Some of them were actually really damn good. I think mine is a decent recreation of the technique, but for the most part, when I want coffee, it makes coffee.
It's very clever.
Yeah, that's, I hear that a lot. I think it's a wizard thing.
Sometimes I wish I could have gone to the Lyceum.
It's never too late. I mean, take all kinds. You've got a head on your shoulders.
I also have a city on my shoulders.
Well, I mean, you know, there's always...
Rora's talking about opening up his own wizard school, so why travel?
Wizard school and take a home. Oh. Wonders never cease. He shotguns his cup of coffee, lets out a somewhat primal sounding, not a growl, but not quite a yelp either. Kind of like putting his game face on.
Yep.
Give me a quick Constitution saving throw.
Yes. Three.
3. He watches in mild horror as your eyes dilate over the course of 5 or 6 minutes. Bones, you feel a spike of anxiety run through you. There's a little bit of like heart fluttering, and you're sure it's not to do with his dashing good looks. You're amped up on coffee. I believe the term is zoomies.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. And she's just gonna grab his hand and then start just running down the stairs.
Oh. So you grab Reginald by the hand. He has no recourse in this matter, or any choice in this matter, as you rush down from the top of this goddamn wizard tower, down the spiral staircases, nearly fumbling the wizard, and
Question.
back down.
Very
Sure.
important question. Is there a railing?
There is a railing.
Bones would slide down the railing if she's hyped up on caffeine.
Okay, give me acrobatics.
Plus 12, don't fail me now. A lot.
All right, you didn't roll a 1?
28.
Okay, so you just hop up, saddle, and down the spiral staircase railing. Reginald struggles to keep up as you wait for just a little bit for him to catch up before grabbing him again.
Excuse me, I
And-
wait forever.
You wait forever for his slow ass to catch up. You clutch him by his wrist again and continue to drag him. He is not as fast as you are. He's a human. You are Tabaxi and Rogue. But he does his best to keep up as you make your way back down through the long bridge leading here and up toward Gnome Town. You hear the festivities already. You hear the banging and the booming, the trumpeteering, the drums, and a couple of very loud pops.
Yeah, her ears
Yeah.
just twitch and she's like, oh, what's that? She's gonna go explore the pops.
Explore the pops. So,
She's
Leah
not gonna-
Verdivine, Heldy Biff,
She's not gonna...
Incognitus Bones.
Yeah, she's not gonna drag him by the wrist anymore. She will hold his hand. But...
But by the hand, yeah. He's doing his best to keep up, but he is slow wizard. Not for lack of trying. He's doing his best. So, as several different groups converge on this park, Bones, you're the last to arrive, but you do see that, off in the distance, there is a familiar set of horns. There's a familiar dark black ponytail. You recognize that some of your party is in attendance in various forms. You find your way to this park that has been retrofitted with various carts and attractions and games in a large podium. Upon that podium, you see a figure begins to step up, making their way toward a speaking platform. And people among the crowd, small folk primarily, a number of halflings, but a lot of gnomes, begin to clap in unison. Like 1, 2, 3, clapping all at a beat before the claps break away into just a cacophonous wave of slappy sounds. There's some hollering, there's some cheering, and this diminutive male gnome with a broad nose and faintly pointed ears and short blonde hair. They're dressed with like a ruffle around their neck, almost like a clown or a harlequin, though their coat is of proper dress cut with sleeves and buttons and some really nice fabric trim. It's kind of a mishmatched amalgamation of styles. Almost like a ringleader in a circus. And he calls out into the crowd, raising his hand as his voice booms across the noise. Come one, come all, small folk and tall, for now we commemorate the joyous day when the gnomes first hatched from the stones. From time immemorial our story has been told, ages after the birth of man, long after the exodus of the elves, and longer yet since the dwarven emergence. The world had become a dreary place. War had scoured the lands, and cities were sundered, families destroyed, not only those of men, but the gods themselves, mortal and divine, forced to choose, to take sides, to fight or to cower, and try to weather the storm. The noblest elf was driven to impulse, the most stoic of dwarves made to shed tears. The decisive dragonborn was now plagued with paralytic hesitation, and the humans, ambitious and determined. The very will to carry on was shaken. Yes, in the aftermath the world was quite ruined, quite upended, and while the young gods licked their wounds and mourned the loss of the dragons divine, the mortals who remained were left to pick up the pieces as they grieved, struggled, and mourned over the world they had lost. And so the world, very much alive and very much aware of such melodrama, grew quite tired of the long faces and dragging heels. From the deepest caverns and caves she took the stones which made her smile the most, and with a kiss granted each a spark of life and the love of all things living. Small of height, but big of heart, strange of face, and with joy that sparkled like crystal in their eyes, the first gnomes were turned loose, with but one directive. Go forth, my children. Go forth and bring joy to these dull and dreary hearts. Trick them if you must, but do not let them forget this truth. I live, and so do you. And so the gnomes left their homes in the stones, and flooded into the world of men, causing all manner of muss and fuss and mischief. We were welcomed into their lives, and for those who didn't welcome us, well, they could certainly try to avoid us. You know how persistent we are. And so the tall folk came to know us, and we to know them. Sharing our wisdom and creativity, we worked together to create a new age, a new era of wonder. And as he finishes his speech, there's a riotous applause and clapping and shouting, whistling, hollering. There are bursts of smoke in the crowds and flourishes of sparkles and little bits of paper. The scent of sulfur and explosives it grows prominent as these clouds of party poppers and small booming things burst one by one. And just as he goes to turn, he lifts a hand. And if a forest gnome or any of those hairy-footed halflings tell you otherwise, let them know they're a damn dirty liar. More hollering, more booming, and more riotous laughter among the small folk. In the distance, a large, paper-mache-covered green dragon lifts up and above the city streets before plowing back down. The sound of roaring can be heard from its body as it begins to move down one of the streets. Googly-eyed, with a large tongue lolling out, the giant float begins to vomit gouts of small, sparkling, cellophane-wrapped things. Children and small folk alike begin to grab these tiny little objects, fleeing from the front of it, beginning to follow it from the sides like remores follow a shark. As the giant papier-mâché sword in the back of its head wobbles, it moves down the street, surrounded and followed by people with drums booming on them. Large stilt walkers, men and elves, tall and lean of frame. They walk, some with grace and some without grace, to follow after this dragon float. It appears that a parade has begun. As people start to shout and dance and laugh, they begin to spread out and move away from the podium. You see nearby, there in the park, a mud wallow is being filled with water, and a couple of gnomes are surrounding it. There are a couple of carts and attractions that are kind of being built. Most people are moving to follow after this parade.
Bones is going to join her friends very quickly.
Biff would have been near his party cheering because that was quite a rousing creation story.
Vanya is delighted by this whole spectacle, and between her and her skeletons has created a little pocket for Verdi to hide in if it's overwhelming.
You got a little safety corner. I love it. Let's see. Biff and Vanya, I think you guys are rubbernecking and checking things out. Give me a quick perception check.
Delighted to.
Rolls.
14.
19, 14. 14, Vanya, you hear, a little bit of like conversation here and there. There's people, muttering and meandering and laughing and jostling each other. Biff, you do hear in the crowd nearby your group, there is a light tan-skinned, slender-framed gnomish man, arms folded, rolling his eyes, speaking with a halfling beside him.
Actually, the mother forest grew us like shrubs. The bark on our branches cracked and out popped us, fleshy and springy, but still bendy like green wood. It's true. Hit me up, I'm light as wood. And bendly as a sapling.
The halfling beside him, curly of hair, just kind of grins, lifts their hands, and is done with their friend.
They change the story every year. It's always different. I love it. They're so fucking full of themselves.
Hilda, you hear a halfling nearby stifling some laughter as you mention this. They kind of just nod in your direction and walk away. They join up with the party, but it seems like some people know what's up.
Yeah, she's just the people who are new here, such as Biff and everyone actually, more or less. She's just filling them in on the gnomish bullshit.
Same story, no story is good story. Biff enjoys this story.
And that's what it is. A story.
Every year it gets more lively and exciting as well. They really pulled out all these stops this time. Did you see the dragon?
The dragon was amazing. Biff almost go chase it with the little kids. It is so cute.
The dragon roars in the distance and vomits candy.
I'm glad that even if Alina did not go to the party, she's there in spirit.
She's there in spirit.
And Banjay is actually in his human form following the dragon float.
You follow the dragon float, and Banja, you're the biggest kid in the group. There's a small, like, dark-skinned human little girl who has crawled up onto your shoulders and is picking up candy as you pick up candy.
Heck
Pulling it
yeah.
up from your hands.
Everybody's happy to help anybody who needs the height.
Hell yeah.
The googly eyes was certainly a choice. I like the candy, though.
I didn't know it spit out candy.
What kind of candy do they usually offer?
Usually it does not. Usually the floats do not spit out candy.
What do they usually spit out? More gnomes?
Once.
Can Bones approach during all of this?
Yeah, Bones, your friends are talking about candies and spitting gnomes and the festivity of it all. Y'all see as Bones approaches, and she's a little fidgety.
Yeah.
Reginald is a little tired.
She's also got her hair down, which is a whole last thing.
Oh my god, she's just this puffy, frizzy ploof of strawberry blonde hair upon a tabaxi with like swirling fur patterns and the like. It's a sight. It's a thing.
How obvious is it that Bones is drugged up?
I mean,
You
she
can
is
roll.
grinning ear to ear, which is not usual for her.
Yeah, she's in super great spirits. If you suspect something, roll medicine or insight. 25 Bones, you trying to hide this shit?
No. I don't know that I need
Bones
to.
Bones is she's on some kind of stimulant, man. She's revved up.
With my
Either-
with my passive of 27, do I know the signs of somebody having caffeine?
Absolutely. You've had coffee. You've seen someone who has had too much coffee. It seems Bones might be a lightweight, or she may have drunk a lot.
Biff first observes Bones, and then leans over to Red. She got into gut snip.
Did not.
Oh, Biff forgot you can actually hear Biff even when Biff is being quiet.
I hear everything.
She has really good ears. Hi, Biff. Hi,
Wonderful
Bertie. Hi.
hair.
Oh, hello again, Vanya.
Good evening, Mr. Cross.
Same to you. Wow, it's almost all of you. I take it Roar isn't coming?
He's probably building a robot.
He's probably building an automaton of some kind, yeah. That seems his style.
Well, if it's Roar not to come, this is a great place to observe the humanoid experience.
Gnome experience.
Gnome experience, yes.
Well, technically speaking, gnomes are humanoids. They're just small. Anyway, honestly, I probably wouldn't be here either if not for good company. It's a little loud and a little bright. But hey, that's a dragonfloat vomiting. Oh, it's vomiting candy. Wow.
Apparently, that is a new feature.
Yeah, I don't
These gnomes.
never doubt the inventiveness of small folk. They are small and cunning.
Very true.
Incognitus is nodding in the background.
I think it was mostly Mauritius's idea. Maybe. He gets kind of funny during this time of year.
I can see why the dragon might be green. Last year it was red, but the green one is a bit more topically appropriate.
I don't think I've actually come to this party since I stopped pickpocketing everyone here.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to get back into old habits, this is a kind of adjusts his belt purse, and then
I
tucks
immediately go to my belt purse as well, just out
He,
of
tuck,
habit.
he tucks his belt purse away and kind of glances away from you, Bones, and kind of toward the ground and around.
It's a really good place to get your purse cut.
Yeah, y'all should be really careful about that.
Kind of snaps a finger and points at Heldy.
Nod at Heldy. Aggressively nod.
Biff will be extra sure that Biff does not lose anything around pushy customers.
So as you guys gather around and discuss, you see a gout of flame erupt in the distance. A number of dancers with flaming, they look like batons, begin to perform on the stage. A crowd has gathered and begin to cheer on as drums thump and strings play as one performance begins. The float has kind of shifted off into the distance, but the crowd of people following it stretches on and on and on. There appears to be a procession of different musicians banging the drums, blowing on deep bass pipes, thin reed pipes, string instruments, and the like. It's a bouncy, jovial, playful tune that they continue on as they follow their ringleader, Xylurus the Scarred Beguiler.
terrifying and I love it. So, what else is there? And Bones is just looking around, head on a swivel.
I'm glad you asked.
I'm
Bones,
using Mage Hand to like gather up stray pieces of candy and collecting them.
are you guys following the procession or just gathering from a distance?
Strolling after it, I imagine.
Strolling after it
Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah, you begin to stroll. You're not quite keeping up with the parade, but you're moving, and the parade's kind of moving past you. Vaughn, you start grabbing bits of candy, bits and pieces, and they're like golden cellophane wrappers, but not cellophane because that's not real. Hard candies on sticks. What appear to be a great number of honey candies wrapped in waxed paper and the like. Sticky things, chewy things, things that'll fucking rot your teeth. But hey, kids love them.
And so does Vanya.
So does Vanya. As you continue forward, a small, gray-skinned gnome, kind of dark brown, almost gray, with what looks to be almost granite-like growths on their forearms and their knuckles and their shoulders. They're kind of old. They jog after the procession with a big backpack on their back full of what looks like parchment or scrolls. They wave a hand in the air as they hold what looks to be several sheets of paper bound together.
Lunyanzaru Gazetta! Lunyanzaru Gazetta! First issue's free! First issue's free!
Ooh.
You!
Looks into your direction. Bones as you kind of perk up.
Bones is like instantly next to him.
Marches on over. He throws several sheets of paper in your hand.
First issue's free. As we produce more, there'll be 5 copper apiece. Arm yourself with knowledge.
That is the best sword.
He moves away from you.
Nyanzaru Gazetta! Nyanzaru Gazetta!
And then Bones is like instantly next to the party again.
So you have what's essentially a newspaper. This is the first time you've heard of the new Nyanzaru Gazette. There have been similar newsletters that have gone out monthly or bi-monthly in small form. This guy is carrying what looks to be enough to cover several days worth of divvying out. A surplus of them, even. As you look through it and gather back with your friends, a few things stick out. Headline: Big changes imminent. Formation of a new town council. Shake up at the refuse pit. Negotiations of new ownership. Aid from the Black Tower. Gunslingers have pledged to assist something. Merchant Prince monopolies on goods set to be dissolved by end of year. Massive scandal involving the Flaming Fist. Investigations underway. Lizard folk hearing imminent. Negotiations begin with distant neighbors. Then you get to the gossip section. Merchant princes are fuming. The town to the south, New Haven. What we've heard from those inside of Boskov Driscoll's haven of horrors.
Oh, hey,
Lizard
we made the
folk.
paper!
You point that out, and there's you kind of pull away as you point it out, and it's a brief, almost tawdry depiction of rumors of things that have happened in New Haven. Apparently, some people have made it back to Nyanzaru and have reflected upon their time there, and you can immediately notice that there are embellishments about it. News about what has happened there has not quite spread. But there is some speculation about what is to be done about this mysterious, strange compound to the south.
News here's a little slow. Oh well.
They do have access to teleportation. It's quite not their fault.
True. Alright, I'm gonna add some sort of communication network. Oh, actually, never mind, we have pens. We're good.
You keep on scrolling through the different gossip. There's an article about the lizard folk, villains or victims, and the debate between two different columnists. Just who is that creepy apothecary on the hill? The enigmatic Professor Crowley, a collection of peculiar happenings from a gnome with a spyglass.
Chloe, you're in paper. Come read. Is that you? Oh man.
You get down to a selection. As you go, there are advertisements that are kind of blocked throughout this paper. And Bones, as you read it, you realize a couple things. It's not hand-scribed. The pen appears to be way too uniform, way too similar from the letter before it. It's as though someone had stamped each of the letters, which would take forever with a regular stamp.
I mean, Bones has dabbled a little in printing and books. I mean, so she is published. Would she recognize printing?
So, up until this point, technology level, like out of character meta,
Yep.
Books would have to have been hand-scribed or somehow magically transcribed. This appears to be, just by the look of it, you're noticing that this is a technology that you're not familiar with.
Awesome. Reg, look at this print. This is not hand scribed.
Okay, as you ask that question, Alicia, did you have a question?
Just commenting that we're witnessing the birth of the printing press.
Yes.
Yeah. Reginald looks it over. Reg looks it over, pulls it to his face, and squints. He looks at it really closely, and you see it's like the light is dim around you. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a coin. The coin begins to glow. He uses it to look over the text. This is that looks almost like imprinting. Yeah, with like a little block or some such pressing into the paper.
I mean, yeah, but it's too uniform.
Yeah, it's way. What was this called? The New Nyanzaru Gazetter?
Yeah.
This is new. What the hell have they been working on? He licks his teeth, and you see gears are turning. A sudden interest in just what's happening.
Do you want to go? Should I go chase him down and get him for you?
Well, he appears to be on the job, but we can ask him to see what he's doing. Do you want to go check him out and get the...
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're faster than I am. I'll catch up.
Okay. This is like the second person I've kidnapped for you today. And then she just takes off.
I really don't like that turn of phrase. You know, it's a little insensitive. What with me being kidnapped and all, and, you know, it's whatever. It's fine.
Are we sure she is not on catnip?
No, not catnip. Good God, no, I'm not that kind of man. God, that'd be fucked up, Biff.
It is all natural.
I mean, so is... He makes a smoking gesture.
Yeah, and so is coffee.
And that's it. I think coffee is the lesser of several different... Listen, her judgment isn't...
Less natural because you have to brew it.
Okay, so she's had coffee, and that's it. It's not catnip. It's nothing weird. I didn't expect her to react like this, but it's nice to see the energy. I like the energy.
Perhaps you need coffee.
I always...
Or catnip.
Coffee. I do... No.
I mean, I do know a man if you're in the mood for some relaxants like such.
Oh, he has the best shit.
What, like dope?
Yeah, dope, you dope. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you so
You know,
quiet?
I mean, it's not contraband here, but I mean, there's
Like herbal remedies.
herbal remedies. Listen, I
I
went
mean-
to college.
I mean, if you want to be fancy about it, pot's pot.
It is an herbal remedy. It is literally what it is. It doesn't sound so silly when you say it that way.
You're using big fancy words. Make it sound special.
So, Bones, you
Like
catch
a
up with this. You catch up with this paper man.
Mhm.
Nunyan Zaru Kazara! Nunyan Zaru Kazara!
Hi.
Ah, hello! Welcome! Salutations and greetings!
How did you print this? This is not hand transcribed. And you didn't take a little block and print it all out. That would be a waste of time.
You see him begin to grin as he looks at you. Ah, you're curious about the innovation of this century. It's going to put Nyanzaro on the block. Revolution in printing technology. They call it the writing squeeze.
The writing squeeze? Okay.
Oh, yeah, you put the writing down and it squeezes onto paper.
Oh, okay. I think I can picture that. So, like, it's the whole page is printed at once?
Multiple pages at once. Best thing about it? None of that Aether Stone magical tomfoolery. It's all purely mechanical.
Mechanical. This guy's a gnome, right?
Oh, he is such a gnome. All it takes is a couple of them forest gnome folks running inside of a tiny little wheel. Keeps the whole machine running.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
The gnomes in a hamster wheel.
Hold on. Bones just nods energetically, and like her hair is kind of bouncing with her as she nods. And I thought my fountain pen was like the best invention that y'all came up with. Okay, great. That's what I needed to know.
It's the fountain pen. Tell you what.
And then she's just gonna run back to the group.
He waves a paper at you as you go and goes along his merry way, throwing papers at people.
You hear this? Oh, as somebody gets taken off my paper.
Random human gets hit upside the head. Oof! Ow! I mean, it was just paper, but it still kind of hurt a little bit. Hell, do you see Gerald get owned again?
Is he still working?
He's walking with the parade. What he's doing is not entirely certain to you.
She's gonna, as everyone's like harassing Cross about marijuana, she's gonna just walk away from the party and make her way towards Gerald.
See Gerald Hopkins, he's kind of gathering up some of the papers, tucking them under one arm, looking at the tabloid, because some of these pages are tabloid. He turns about and notices you, as I'm assuming you're not being stealthy.
Oh no, not this time.
He looks back at you. Oh, hello, Shadow.
Hey, you still working?
Well, technically speaking, no, but I was following the dragon with the candy. And also making sure, nothing broke with the dragon with the candy. I don't have to, but I figured that might as well generate some goodwill with the small folk.
Did
They
you
tend
have
to
any
appreciate
candy?
presents. I grabbed candy. Ooh, yeah, of course I grabbed candy.
How much?
So he looks down. You see that his trouser pockets are like bulging.
She just
Listen,
starts
that-
laughing.
I left my backpack at home, but there should be enough to get me through to the next season.
Alright, she's just gonna hang around with him and walk with him with the candy picking and
Ellie, you break off from the others. You're not too far away from the rest of the party.
no.
As you follow him and gather candy off the ground, you see that there's like jugglers and like knife jugglers and like ball jugglers. There's a lot of juggling happening within eyeshot. Bones, you make it back to your party with the information that you have gathered.
Hi. So, I have gotten an explanation for this. So, they're calling it a writing squeeze, and you set all of the stamps, like, all at once, for, like, multiple pieces of paper, and then they ink it, and then they squeeze the paper onto it, and it's printed.
Huh.
Apparently there's some part involving, gnomes in a hamster wheel, or in a wheel running it, but I don't understand that part.
Well,
Those must be some very jacked gnomes.
it's just running. Gnomes are very, very, not super quick, but they can run for a while. They're pretty spry.
So, yeah.
Is that humane?
I mean, like,
If you pay them.
I don't ask questions about gnomes. They do all sorts of crazy shit.
So, yeah, so
Yeah,
they...
fair.
Oh, go ahead.
Just said that's fair.
They printed all of it at the same time.
That is incredible. I would need a facility for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, no magic.
that would explain why they're using gnomes to actuate the motivators.
Hmm.
You could probably, throw up an Aetherstone relay and starts to pontificate, going through some quick calculations out loud. You see he's very quickly lost in thought, and Reg is back on the job now. He's back on the job as he's following you guys as you party.
Bones will get distracted by the jugglers. I rolled a wisdom saving throw.
Nice. You see that there are some jugglers. They're juggling knives. They're juggling axes. Some of them are juggling flaming bowling pins. You might not know what those are. The stilt walkers are kind of harrowingly navigating between jugglers and dancers and singers. There's an elven man with long, flowing blonde hair, well dressed upon a pair of stilts. He wears a set of antlers affixed to his head and like a cloak of green with feathery leaves. There is a human with a red round nose and a painted white face who is stumbling and twisting and almost eating shit on his stilts, but seems to always pick himself up just before falling.
Insight check.
Roll an insight check.
He is
Natural
a
20.
This is a performance. You see, with the way that he balances his body, that this human, although they look like a schmuck, is very aware of what they're doing. They're tucking and moving their body and twisting, almost dance-like in their movements as they gather their balance, twist, turn, pivot, plant a heel, and carry on.
Bones is going to point it out to Reg and probably break his concentration. Look.
Oh, no, that's terribly dangerous. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, he does. He's an expert. It takes a lot of skill to be able to fall like that, but not fall.
So you're saying he's falling with style?
I mean, sort of, but more like he's not actually falling, he's just making it look like he's falling, and the lack of control is part of the act.
So as you bring this up among Reginald, and your party is kind of ambiently listening to you, Biff, you pick up and zero in on just what Bones is explaining, and it reminds you of some of the different disciplines within your monastery. There is a type of martial artist that is essentially go with the flow, bounce, twist, and weave as you're being struck. These masters could pass themselves off as drunkards, or at least that's where the terminology comes from. Their peculiar weaving and twisting fighting style, known as the drunken master fighting style.
Biff scratches his chin. Biff knew a couple of people who could fight moving as such. Perhaps not on stilts, or perhaps could. Biff never thought to check.
I wonder if I could go on stilts.
Not with coffee in your system.
Do you have a pair of stilts?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, goodness gracious. I think I may have created problems accidentally.
I'm just kidding.
Just kidding or just kidding?
Both. And I'll wink.
He makes finger guns at you.
No, I'm not going to rob anyone. Today.
Okay. You guys continue down the street following this procession. And you see a number of, small folk, halflings, gnomes, both the forest gnomes and the rock gnomes, even a couple of dwarves at their respective stations, calling out for people to try their wares, try their games. The scent of sweet, buttery, flaky crust and cloyingly sweet coconut does waft through the air. Um, you are made aware of what appears to be a contest of sorts. A long bench is set out with a number of patrons sitting at it, each of which have several aluminum pie dishes beside them. There is a gnome who's like pointing at one of them each in a row, calling out standings. Almost finished, just starting to the third, on their fourth, on their fifth. Can he do it? Can he squeeze it down? Can she not barf? As people are conducting a pie eating contest.
Bones
More
is
pies are brought out.
baffled. Bones is just absolutely baffled by the concept.
You see one person grab their gut and fall off of the bench. They roll to the side. You're out!
It's so
Yes.
unhealthy. How many carbs are in that pie?
How much money did all those pies cost?
How much money is the prize?
Typically speaking, with the pie eating contest, there's a 5 silver introduction fee. If you manage to come out on top, you get a gold piece. The rest of the silver pieces go to the purveyor. The cost of flour is usually pretty low, and I mean, coconut cream pie. Coconuts usually aren't that expensive, but there has been a shortage. I wonder if the price has gone up.
The abundance is strange.
The abundance is strange. As a child who, kind of grew up with not that much, this is a little excessive. You see that there are a number of humans who are competing. There does appear to be a gnome who is kind of eating them under the table. Like, where the fuck is it going?
Where is the fuck is it going? Perception check.
Perception check. Roll me a perception check.
I don't like this, but I really can't turn away. They're just...
Bones
31.
The game is rigged.
Bones just makes like she discovered something amazing and just grins.
You see that the pies in the at least some of the pies in the possession of this long blonde-haired young gnomish woman, some of them are illusory.
I'm gonna place a bet on her. Someone's gonna bet me.
There's some betting. There's some betting around the group. Let's see, betting. I hadn't even considered betting rules. But you have found yourself a ringer. Let's see. A bookie. They inform you that the entry is a modest 5 copper pieces. Winner takes half the pot.
Yeah.
And there's like 20 other people gathered around, shouting out, cheering people on. You put down your 5 copper pieces. And you guys hang around for a little bit as this contest carries on.
I'm just gonna sidle next to Reg and motion to my ringer.
You motion to your ringer. After several minutes, the last of the humans have fallen down, and you recognize at the table there is a female dwarf who you have met. Gemwin's Stonecutter?
Oh, Gemwin. I like her.
Gemwin. Gemwin appears to be engaging in this friendly competition with this gnomish woman with her illusory pies.
Gemwin will give her a run for her money. But she won't win.
But she won't win?
She won't win. I'm just whispering this to Reg.
I mean, Gemwin's like twice the size of her.
Stop looking at it like you're like a spectator. Look at it like a fucking wizard, dude.
Oh no. Oh no.
What do you see?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I just rolled insight for Vanya to see if she picks up anything, and I think she's starting to get an inkling.
You're picking up that Bones knows something.
I'm going to squint at the contest and... Yeah, I'm going to activate my Eldritch Sight.
You activate Eldritch Sight. You see that out of like 15 pie tins, like 9 of them are illusory.
Oh.
It's all illusion magic.
Oh. That is not fair.
Gnomes.
Cridge kind of lifts a hand. Don't harsh on the hustle. This is how they do.
It's just gnomes.
It's their livelihood. The competition concludes with Gemwin slapping her hand on the table. Oh, I'm out. Oh, I don't know how you put it down, lass. I suspect you got a wooden leg you've been putting it in. I can't do no more of this. You're in. You win. You got this. She stands up.
I'll shout
clutch
to her.
Her stomach.
I'll shout to her in Dwarven that she did a good job.
She waves a hand, shouts back a Dwarvish curse. You can tell that she appreciates the well wishes, but her pride has been sullied,
It's been
and she
wounded, yes.
she kind of sulks off with indigestion. The bookie comes up to you and hands you, let's see, that's 150 copper pieces, so that's 15 silver? 15 silver pieces.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well played. That's her smart playing on the underdog.
I like myself an underdog.
Should have bet on the dwarf then.
All right. So you see the tables being cleared off, cleaned up, and a new competition is beginning. The ringer takes a step aside, pats her stomach dramatically.
Oh, that's way too much. Far too much for me. I'll be taking this one off.
Steps aside, and the purveyor of the competition starts calling to the crowd.
Test your skill and constitution with this great act of gluttony and graciousness. Betting starts at 5 copper. Entry fee is 5 silver pieces. Winner takes all.
You see there are other attractions around you that are also starting to reset and begin their things. In the distance, you hear someone call out,
Test of strength, come and test your might.
Well, neither of those are for me.
in the far distance, you hear someone else call out,
Toss the ring on the almirage. Land a ring on a bunny, win a prize.
Biff,
Don't stare the Cyclops! Can you not blink? I bet you will!
Biff, head lifted up from his moving about at the test of strength thing, and kind of looks around his party. Biff will be right back.
No,
Maybe.
we're gonna come with you and root for you.
Okay.
Sounds like a fun idea. I think I might try the ring toss after.
Biff, you see all eyes are on you as you make your way down the street and toward there's a gnome wearing a dark black leather armor, bearing like a helm on his head and a number of weapons on his sides. On one of his hips, there's a scroll case. He lifts up his hand, waves around, and at first does not turn his attention toward you and your party. Come one, come all, and ring the bell. Earn a title and land.
Biff will do this challenge.
He looks in your direction. You see that there is a sizable hammer with a leather-bound head, and a contraption, a tall red wooden beam with a bell at the very top. It's like 9 feet, so a little bit taller than you. And at the bottom is a lever with a leather-bound platform for striking and a launching point on the other side. Between the wooden beams, there is what looks to be an iron, not a ball, like a disc. And this gnome looks you over, looks up, and cocks his brow a little bit. It's a silver piece to try. Will you take up the challenge and claim the title of Grand Poobah and land?
Biff will take this challenge and claim your title.
Of course you will. Of course you will. All right. He holds out his hand, opens up his coin purse. 1 silver.
I'll pay.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my bettings. I just,
Yeah, you've got free tokens. A caffeinated cat reaches in and gets the coin in the purse before you can, Bev.
Oh, okay. Thank
The
you.
gnome looks a little strange, reaches up and kind of brushes his mustache, frowns a little bit. Right then, you've got 3 tries to ring the bell. Takes a step aside. He hands you a hammer with a leather-bound head, and it's no brazen cloud, but it's hefty enough. Feels like it's mostly wood, like maybe a wooden hammer.
Okay. Biff will test the weight of the hammer a little bit. Eye the contraption one good last time. Roll his shoulders, get into position.
All right, roll me a strength. Roll me a athletics check. With a 20. With one fell whomp, ding, the bell is rung. Illusory explosions of sparkles, confetti, and what sounds like canned cheers and laughter blow up in the air around you. Clearly some kind of magical illusory power. The games master claps his hands, his fingerless gloves smacking them together as he reaches to his side, pulls up the scroll case.
Biff holds out his hand. No, not like this. Biff cannot earn victory like this. And he hands back the hammer.
what?
He takes the hammer back.
And Biff stands in front of the drop point. Takes a deep breath.
Oh no, you're not. No, yet.
What is happening?
He's going to punch it.
Oh no, he's gonna bake it.
And he punches it.
Roll me an attack. It's an object roll with advantage.
As I have to hurry up and find my attacks on this thing.
$29. Sorry, 21. 9 points of bludgeoning damage. Crack! The bell continues to shake and rattle and hum for several seconds. Long after the canned laughter and sparkles dissipate, people in the crowd turn and look in your direction as the gnome rubs his mustache a little bit, nods, and begins to pull out the paper from the scroll case. Congratulations to what's your name?
Biff!
Congratulations to Biff, Grand Poobah de Doink of all this and that, Lord and ruler of the one cobblestone piece in the town square.
By the way, at year's end, that cobblestone piece comes back to the town. But it's yours for the end of the year, so long as you want to stand on it. Congratulations on your victory! Congratulations. Yes, your victory. It's a game made for literally people a third of your height. Well done. You've made your people proud.
Oh
I
man.
clap politely.
Bones claps excitedly, and yeah. I love this so much.
If
I mean,
your perception check.
I got that reference, yeah.
yeah, I got that reference.
It's funny because you're both getting two different references. Natural 20. In the distance, like down the street, even with your non-dark vision, you see it's illuminated by braziers. There is a much larger, taller hammer that is in the process of being erected. Scaffolds and ropes are tying it back as it looks to be being assembled. People are gathered, but they're not playing as it's not finished.
I'm actually just surprised you didn't break it.
Hildy, as you look up, you do see that Verdi, as you look up, you do see that the bell is dented.
Oh no.
It's a little broken.
Oh, that will come out with the good smith. And Biff hands back the paper.
No, that's your cobblestone. You earned it.
That's you, Grand Poobah. You earned that cobblestone. I hope you stand on it on a hot day. Barefoot.
Biff is incredibly sorry about all of this.
It's all in good fun, friend. You've been a good sport about it. But please do go. Come on, try your feats of strength. Sizes 3 foot and smaller, please.
Biff sulks away.
If you sulk away with your pride in your hands as you make your way down the street.
At a distance, Hildy did see this, and she is cackling.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that man's really, really tough. It ended the bill.
You almost fucking broke the thing.
Well, yeah, but gnomes tend to break through things anyway. They're very destructive people. I mean, they don't mean to be. They're just kind of,
You're not wrong.
So, Biff, as you move your way down the thoroughfare, following the parade, which has gotten some distance between you and the others, you all see a number of other attractions. You see a booth, and the inside is mostly shrouded. There is a clear window. Within, there's a child seated with a blindfold on. There's a small native Takalan girl, and nearby, sitting at one of the stools, is a dark, stony-skinned gnome who's weaving with their fingers and moving and shaping something. Within the booth, you see a tiny, phantasmal purple dragon, long and slender, with these elegant, beautiful butterfly wings fluttering about. It giggles. And the child swipes for it but misses. The creature appears again with a flash of sparkles as the crowd who's watching on kind of claps and calls out for the girl. To your left, no, your other left! Up, down! As the dragon moves about, there's a moment of silence. And then the creature's voice, the illusory dragon, makes this little tiny, "You can't catch me," before the girl reaches out, swipes, and clutches the illusory creature. It hacks and it gacks and it twists and turns, fluttering its wings. "Oh, you got me, no!" As the crowd cheers and claps, the little girl pulls her blindfold off, sees that she's caught in her quarry, and the games master beside her claps their hands. "Well done, well done! That's worthy of a prize, I think." He produces from a cart beside them a large, fluffy spider plush. The girl makes her way out of the booth, and he hands it to her. She clutches it and holds it and squeezes it. And he begins to prep for another game. Come one, come all, test your senses. The ears and the nose and the hands are better than the eyes. Sometimes some of you are absolutely terrible at this. Across the way, across the street, there's another stoutly built stony gnome who is calling out to those in the crowd beside him, behind him. You almost didn't notice it until you got close. There is a large creature, a giant, crouched with hands on its knees. It glowers at the group of people walking past with its one single eye, scowling, its big nose covered in warts, its thick body covered in pockmarks and boils. Can you maintain a straight face? Can you outstare death itself? Can you beat a Cyclops at a staring contest? I don't think so. I don't think any of you got that gumption. But you can certainly try. 5 silver for try, winning gets a prize.
Bones is looking between the two.
Yeah, if people want to try out Carnival games, please let me know.
What's the prize at the one with the Cyclops?
Cyclops, it appears to be a very similar cart with very similar looking prizes. You see that there are, let's see, with just your passive perception, you see what appears to be a large, oversized lollipop, like massive, like the size of your face, with a swirly, multicolored. You see there is a dog, a little puppy made of wood, with a wind-up key in its back. And there's a cat nearby as well. Similar make and model, there's 2 or 3 of those each. You see what appears to be a plush recreation of Aramag. A small cup and ball game, and similar items of that like.
I'm gonna actually talk to the guy running the illusory dragon game, because I feel like sitting still and staring at something will probably not be in my wheelhouse right now.
Vanya
So
is actually going to kind of drift over towards the Cyclops game, curious.
So Biff and Vanya go to the Cyclops game, and Bones, you go to the Fairy Dragon game?
Yeah, but I'm gonna ask if it's for children before I take it.
Oh, no, all manner of man, woman, child, vegetable, and mineral can attempt this game. It is a game of skill, I warn you.
Okay.
All right. So you make your way into the booth. He holds out his hand for a silver piece.
Yeah. Easy
Takes
enough.
it, clasps it, looks it over, and tucks it into his pocket.
Within the cabinet there is a red blindfold. Please fix it to your eyes. No peeking. Ears only.
Sure. I'll put
And
on.
you see Reginald is watching you, kind of like giving you like a double thumbs up, cheering you on as you prepare to blind yourself. Biff and Vanya, you make your way across the street toward the Cyclops.
As Verdi follows on behind because he's, yeah.
I see we've got some challengers who would test their might against the Cyclops.
I had some questions regarding the rules of the game.
Rules of the game. Very, very simple. You must merely maintain eye contact with the Cyclops. If you blink first, you lose. If he blinks first, you win.
I see. And this is open for anyone so long as you pay the admission price, yes?
5 silver pieces.
Excellent.
I'm going to look at the Cyclops and activate my Eldritch Sight again.
Oh, it's absolutely an illusion.
Excellent. I'll produce 5 silver and hand it over to him.
Excellent.
Excellent.
One moment. Jackson, could you come over here and stare at the Cyclops for me, please?
Oh, well played. Well played. I'm not gonna bother with the time here. Just let me just rustle through and see what we can. Well played.
He Hangdog pockets this and looks through the various prizes.
Alrighty, pick a number between 1 and 10.
3.
Number 3. Your prize is number 3.
He reaches underneath a pile of plush and pulls out what at first looks like a large rock. Kind of elliptical, kind of domed to the top. As he brings it into the light and brings it toward you, you see a medium-sized, very soft, and very fluffy, and very well put together plush turtle. Its face is somewhat jagged and underbitten. Its shell has pointed little tips all across the top.
Aramag, the defender of Lianzaru, is yours. Don't tell him I said that.
I'll wink at him and take it and slip him another silver.
For indulging me.
Oh, well. It's all about making people smile, and, well, you did make me smile for the bravest of moments.
He takes it and he pockets it and calls out to the crowd once more. Biff, were you interested? Oh,
Now
Okay.
he's not.
that is not- Listen, you can win the game. It's winnable. It's just hard. It's just hard.
That was very clever.
I smile brightly and I offer Verdi the plush Aramag.
He kind of blinks at it and shrugs a little and takes it. Because, well, what else is he gonna do?
Okay, you can add a medium plush Arapeg to your inventory if you so choose. You don't have to. I'm not your dad.
I'd like to hope not.
So, Bones, as you sit in the booth, you find that within it's actually pretty quiet. The acoustics of this booth kind of block out a little bit the sound from the outside, which allows you to detect the sound of
Catch me if you can.
Need you to make a perception check.
All right, crossing my fingers on this one. Natural 20 for a 32.
Why? Why? Why is everyone getting crits tonight?
Because
coffee.
it's
Like
the coffee.
fucking cornies, man.
Bones doesn't need to see. She's got blind sight because she's so fucking caffeinated.
Oh god, you got blindsided since caffeinated. You hear a as you feel yourself grabbing something spongy and squishy.
Ah, you got me, you got me. Oh, what a world, what a world.
There's clapping and hooting and hollering, and you hear Reginald, not quite howling, but he's like letting out that gravelly yeah. As you catch this fairy dragon with one shot. The Carney, they clap their hands.
Well done, well done. Well, I haven't seen a performance like that since I first started. Well, come on out, pick out your prize. One try. You get 2 prizes from the prize counter.
Ooh, I'm gonna look at the prizes.
Okay. So you can choose to pick a number, or you can roll 2d10.
I'm gonna roll 2d10. I hope this works. 2d10. Nope. Yes, maybe so.
All right, so a 7 and a 10. You are handed, at first, a medium-sized plush giant spider. It's black with colorful stripes and 8 glass bead eyes.
Hold on, I'm not done yet. Hold on to that one. You might need a second pair of hands. You're with her, right? You, wizard man, come here.
Moves over. He offers to take the spider Looks to the gnome. He's not sure.
No, you're holding the big one. Yeah, the big one. The big one. No, this is a worthwhile performance.
He reaches out, and this gnome pulls out a massive, stuffed stegosaurus. In the dark of the night, it's hard to tell just what color it is. But as he hands it to Reginald, who has his little glowstone going, you detect that it is a very vibrant azure blue.
Bones goes sparkly-eyed.
Very well done, very well done. I'd ask you to play again, but I'm afraid I'd lose all my prizes.
Oh, yeah, no, clearly not.
Unless Pencil Neck wants to try. Why would you? I do not have a pencil neck. It's all in good fun, friend. It's all in good fun.
You have a very beautiful neck, Rich.
I have a very beautiful neck. Thank you. I'm taking the Stegosaurus now and going with my girlfriend to not be called a pencil neck.
I'll loop my arms in Reg.
You loop arms together. You got a little spider. He's got a giant stegosaurus. You guys kind of reconvene in the middle. The parade has kind of died down just a little bit as you guys continue to follow with your prizes. Biff, still not going to try the Cyclops? No. Okay, fair enough.
Biff doesn't have skeletons to help him.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
There was a ring toss nearby, wasn't there?
El Mirage ring toss. Cute little bunnies just playing the ring on their head.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Games are on me.
The arm's not coming through. Hold on. He's got to fix himself.
One sec, guys. We'll reconvene in one moment.
Test.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Okay. What were we saying? Someone wanted to try the ring toss and someone else was paying for games?
Yeah, Bones just said the games were on her.
Games were on her. Okay. You guys approach, and you see that there's a portion of the street kind of aside between a couple of buildings that's been cleared of fixtures and debris. It appears to be sand has been put down in a sort of ring set up with poles and rope. Sitting at a stool is a long-haired gnomish woman, pale of skin, freckled face, and big blue eyes. She grins as your group approaches. In the center of the sand pile, there appears to be a cute little brown rabbit sitting up. Upon its brow extends a long, golden unicorn-like horn. It lifts up a paw and begins brushing the side of its face while looking up at the group curiously.
It's so cute.
It's adorable.
It's an Almirage. They're rare, but they're cute little buggers. Have you guys come to test your luck? Or skill?
All skill, no luck.
Ooh, I like the cut of your jib.
Mostly
You
luck.
try first?
Biff will go first.
Biff will go first. Alright, the game is simple. 1 silver piece to play. You get 3 rings. Land 1 ring and you get a prize. Get 3 rings and you win 2 prizes.
I'll toss her a silver piece.
You toss her a silver piece. She grins at you. Biff, she hands you 3 palm-sized rings that look to be made of, like, wood.
Now here's the trick. Bunny's gonna move. Bunny's not gonna stop moving. The game is on now.
As she says that, the bunny stops beating and scratching the side of its face, and instantly disappears in a plume of purple smoke. It reappears several feet beside where it was before. It looks at Biff, beats its paw, disappears again. Biff, you need to make a couple dexterity checks to try to land the rings on its horn.
All right.
These are just straight dexterity checks. The first one lands in the ground with a little bit of a thump, half burying itself in the sand. Oh, tough luck, tough luck. 2 more tries. Bunny disappears briefly and reappears.
You're rolling as Mbanje.
Oh,
Rolling
shit.
as Mbanje.
That
Shit,
might make
sorry.
a difference.
All right, so we'll keep that nat 1 as a nat 1, but you can re-roll that second one as Mr. Biff.
A little
15.
better.
With a 15, your ring glances off the side of its horn. You almost land it before it kind of tips and tilts to the side and lands next to the almirage. Oh, that was close, so close. One more try. You can do it. You got this.
You flurry of blows. I don't know.
Don't punch the rabbit. This one's real.
Stop moving!
Biff, don't!
Stop moving. Do you attempt to intimidate the rabbit to stop moving?
Be safe. Stop moving! Just not know the rabbit move. Why is rabbit moving?
That's the game. I told you the rabbit wasn't going to stop moving.
Doomph, doomph.
You've got this. You got this, Biff. Just go to the calm place, and then take a deep breath and try to aim.
Ah! That's Biff. Biff screams at the rabbit.
Oh, that's funny, I swear to God.
Biff screams at the rabbit as it reappears to try to intimidate it. To stop
Roll an
moving.
intimidation check. Roll an intimidation check against the bunny.
You're scaring the bunny.
Dexterity check. You monster. Roll twice.
That's
Bunnies don't
intimidation
stand still when they're-
21. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
So as the bunny goes wide-eyed and still, and a series of pellets shoot out from its behind, you land the ring upon its horn. Much to its startlement, it stands upright, and the gnome begins to clap.
Well played. Well played.
Biff wins.
She hops down.
Biff wins. Let's hear it for Biff.
Hey, Biff. You scared a
The
bunny.
scream's the dream. The scream's the dream.
And she begins to rifle through a prize counter. Biff, you can roll on the prize table. You can roll a d10 or choose a number between 1 and 10.
3.
3. You are handed a medium-sized plush incarnation of Aranag.
Didn't you
Oh.
pledge to be his champion?
Biff is indeed Adamag's champion, he says with a great deal of pride.
Oh, champion of Aramag. Serious business. Good thing you got an effigy to appease him.
Biff will show it to Adamag and show him what
Do
Biff
not
can
do that. Do not. Do not. Do not. That's a great, nice, and noble idea, but do not compare him to a plush animal. He doesn't like that. You do it anyway, but he doesn't like that.
Biff, in the distance, you hear. You all likewise hear it, but Biff, something about that sound catches your attention. You turn your attention westward and see a gouts of steam rise off of the coast.
Quick, let Biff re-roll. Let Biff decide something else that he can show to Adamag.
Nah, Pimp, that's on you. You can play it. You can play again and try again. Or you can have one of your friends try to win that shit. That's your baby now.
Oh yeah? Well, perhaps Biff tell Adamag what Biff get this prize.
No, they're
He swipes the plush from you and hands you a plush spider.
Biff will accept this arrangement.
All right, cool. Good chat.
The Almirage begins to kind of bamf and disappear and reappear, gain its bearings. It kind of kicks and buries its accident. As the game is reset,
I'm going to look over to Verdi.
What do you think? Is it any match for the sharp eye and quick reflexes of the Mr. Vidar?
Oh, you want me to play the game?
Verdi, you notice as Natasha is licking her chops, staring at the bunny.
Natasha would also like you to play the game.
Natasha, no. That is not food. You cannot
She
have that.
grunts. She grunts indignantly.
I will get you a turkey leg, please. Okay. And Birdie will hand Vanya the plush because he's gonna need both hands.
And I will pay the silver for Verdi to play.
Oh, horns and white skin, I've heard of you. You're one of those rangers, huh? Oh, this should be a shoo-in.
Birdie
Be a real shame if you fucked up in front of your friends.
bit of a face.
Don't fuck up, Verdi.
She hands you 3 rings.
The game is on!
The Almirage disappears. Doof, doof, reappears in a few feet away from there. You can roll.
Filled with so much confidence.
Filled with so much confidence, you can roll a dexterity check for your first ring. Straight dexterity.
21.
You land the first one.
Woo! Well done, well done. Land 2 more, you get 2 prizes. Hell, if you land all 3 of them, I might give you something special.
Alright, time for the second ring. $18.
The second ring lands on top of the Almirage. They quickly shuffle and squiggle, and the ring falls down over its body. It sort of steps aside. Thoof, thoof.
That's 2. That's 2. Can the ranger land the 3rd ring and maintain their social standing among their friends and compatriots?
Birdie is sweating profusely.
Will they fall short of the finish line? Time will tell.
He is on so much pressure and he hates it.
You can do it, Verdi.
That lessens it just a little.
I've seen you do so much more dangerous things. You've got this.
I believe in you.
That was a 17 on die. Birdie has a +7 to dexterity.
Holy shit! Wait, a +7 dexterity? You should have like a +5 at most.
No, it's a 7.
Let me see your character sheet. Are you doping?
Or is it a 3? Am I looking at the wrong number?
That's your saving throw.
Oh.
That's your dexterity saving
I
throws.
don't know what the fuck this sheet is. Should I roll
that's
again?
What was that? What was that second one?
It was a 17. And the second one
Yeah.
was... It was an 11 on die.
Okay, whatever. We'll say that you got it. The
Okay.
third one, 17 on die, 20 total. The ring lands on top of the Almirage. It kicks its feet and bamps in a gout of purple glowy glitter and appears elsewhere nearby. The gnomish Carney claps her hands.
Nicely done, nicely done. You've managed to maintain your social standing among your peers. Good going, Ranger.
Hooray.
Wild clapping.
Wild clapping. Some onlookers are watching on with interest. It seems you've attracted some people to the game, and the Carney is quick to see you all away to get more fresh blood. She reaches behind the prize counter. And Verdi, you can roll a d10 or pick a number between 1 and 10.
1.
1. She hands you a wooden, small, wind-up dog with a key in its back.
This is a fun one. Make sure you set it down on a flat surface. Don't overwind it because you'll strip the spring. And this is for you.
She hands you a golden ticket.
Bring this to a food counter and you'll get something good.
Good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
If leans into the wind-up dog. That is so cute.
It's got a very derpy face.
Look at that dog go! As the dog's just sitting there.
Look at this dog!
What the dog doing?
Verdi, what the dog doing?
What a dog doing?
If only it was a cat.
Did you see that there are cats in the prize counter? But as you guys have moved and looked at what the dog is doing, you see that another person has taken Carney's attention. Vanya, you do realize that a lot of these prize counters are similar to one another. A lot of these different attractions have the same things in them to be won, seemingly from the same pool. You also notice across the way, a little distance down the road, there is a food cart with steam billowing out from the large contraption on wheels.
Oh, I have
There
not
is-
eaten dinner yet. We should check that out.
Various scents and noises assault you guys. As the party rages on, Vanya, do you levitate toward the gravitate toward the food court?
I don't have that spell yet, but yeah, I'll kind of tug on Verdi's sleeve and start heading in that direction.
You head in that direction. Reginald notices you guys moving in that direction and kind of tugs on Bones.
Oh man, do you think they have Tej? I could really go for some Tej after that coffee.
They probably do.
They probably do. And little by little, the groups start to converge in that direction. You make your way to this food cart. Verdi, you still have that ticket. You see that, behind the cart, on wheels as well, is a collection of different items behind glass containers. There are cupcakes and large candied apples. There is a massive, massive saucer-sized cookie. A couple of bottled drinks with a little sign that says adult only. Several pies are on display in the front, some of which look to be savory, some of which look to be sweet. There is a container full of what look to be mushrooms, covered in some kind of glaze that's shiny, but it's sweet to the scent. It's a massive lollipop, several small tarts, and currently a dark gray-skinned gnome appears to be working a flaming wok full of sizzling and boiling meat on skewers, boiling in oil. The crowd kind of dissipates around you as you make your way toward it. A momentary lull as this food cart guy does his thing.
Yeah. Bones is just eyeing that meat
There's a lot of meat.
with crazy cat eyes.
Welcome to the food court. We've got all manner of animal, vegetable, and mineral to eat. Working on some barbecue fried curry skewers. A number of sweet things here as well, provided by my wife. Currently not present, as you can see. I am by myself, but cooking's good.
Is that Tej?
That is indeed Tej.
Wonderful. 2 bottles of Tej?
All right. We've got ourselves Tej, but I could also perhaps interest you in some good berry wine.
I'm gonna stay away from anything with berries in the name. It tends to upset my stomach. But if
Fair
that's
enough.
Tej, and then 2 of those skewers, and I don't know what sweets are lost on me. Something good?
You seem like you might appreciate a euphorial cookie. Yeah. Euphorial cookie it is. It's gonna be a gold piece for all that.
Alright. Hand him a gold piece. I don't get to spend money very often, so this is actually really fun for Bones.
Discount for the Inquisitor. He takes the coin from you, pops it into his pocket, and produces a number of fried foods for you. Some kind of bird on stick with spicy is handed to you, and a second one is handed to you. The bottles of Tej are small personal bottles made from what looks to be a very cheap kind of glass. The Tej is acceptable. It's not the best you've had, but it is definitely acceptable. Could have maybe brewed for maybe a week longer, but it's alcoholic enough. Then he hands you an incredibly large cookie. It's like bigger than your palm, dark in color, and it is dusted with this powder that has a faint shimmering sparkle to it.
Well, that's pretty.
Pretty, and it tastes good.
Fantastic. And I'll head back to Reg with my guys.
Enjoy yourselves.
He tips his little chef hat as you move back to Reginald and the company.
I got you a cookie.
Oh shit, is that a euphoria? We only make this during festivals. Gimme.
Yeah, she just hands it over. She doesn't like sweets.
You hand it over. He takes a bite, and you see his eyes kind of cross and his knees kind of buckle. So good.
And here's your Tej and some meat.
Oh yeah, wash it down with Tej meat. Great.
And he's happy as a pig and shit. Starts to pig out.
I'm getting that cookie.
I'll be right back. It will take me 10 seconds to throw this dog into the bedroom.
Okay. You enjoy your time with Reginald. Vanya,
You have found a cookie
that is worthy of your legendary sweet tooth.
I don't know what this ticket does.
You approach the food cart.
If Vanya's going, then Verdi's going, and Verdi is going to see what this ticket does.
Okay.
The skeletons follow Vanya, so Verdi has to stay within their little triangle to maintain their pocket of safe space.
Yeah, as soon as Vanya starts moving, the skeletons behind Verdi start moving, and then it makes him move.
Okay. At the mention of not knowing what the ticket is for, the chef-hatted man calls out to you, Verdi.
You got yourself a golden ticket. What's the number on it?
What's the number on it?
So as you look at the number, you can either pick a number between 1 and 11, or you can roll a d10 and add or subtract 1.
4.
4. Are you adding or subtracting 1?
I am adding 1. I rolled a 3.
That there ticket is good for 1 bottle of good-bearing wine. It's not alcoholic, but it is sweet and filling. You look like you're one of those nature folk. 1 bottle of this holds 4 days' worth of nutrition. 8 ounces is all you need for a day.
And he hands you the bottle of good berry wine.
Oh. That is very useful.
You note that it has 4 servings. And these are better than rations. 1 serving will keep you good for a day. I mean, you'll still be hungry, but you'll survive.
If food is scarce, you take a sippy.
Basically.
Can I get you all anything else? We've got all manner of animal, vegetable, mineral, and some exotic material. Oh, you're here for the Euphoria cookie. I must warn you, these are addictive. How can I be sure that you have the constitution to resist the allure of the Euphoria cookie? I'm just fucking with you. It's Carnival. Eat as many as you want.
He opens up the glass container and pulls out one of the large cookies, looks at you, raises his eyebrows.
Just 1 Euphoria cookie? 2 Euphoria cookies?
Squinting at him.
3 Euphoria cookies?
I think 2 would be fine.
2 Euphoria cookies it is.
Pulls out 2 of these large black cookies dusted with this scintillating, colorful powder.
Oh yeah, give me a cookie. Oh,
He-
give me a cookie.
He hands them over and looks you both over.
Make
Should
that
proceed with that?
3 cookies. I think I
3
have
Euphoria cookies. Oh, you're playing with fire now.
That is for a friend. And, yes, meet,
For line of third Euphoria cookie for a friend. That's an excellent cover story. What else again?
do you have any meat that is not spiced? It's not for me, it's for, and I point to Natasha.
Oh, you got yourself a kitty. Actually, I got some uncooked stuff over here. Let me dig around and see if I got a little kitty treat. He roots around underneath one of the containers near the walk, nearly like bumping his hip into the flame of this bubbling oil cauldron.
Oh, that makes Verdi cringe. Like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
you see him, and you see like his forearms are like covered in little old blister scars, and his like hip has some scorch marks on it. He's no stranger to getting harmed in the kitchen. You can see why. He manages to pull out from a storage unit below a intact raw chicken thigh with the bone.
Hey, how's this look, little kitty?
He looks over at Natasha, calling her out, and Natasha licks her chops and does the jowly thing that large cats do.
Yes, that would be perfect.
He tosses it across
Can I get you anything else?
as Natasha catches it in her mouth and starts to.
2 skewers. Or, no, 3 skewers, because Biff is gonna want them.
Alright. He produces 3 skewers.
Yeah, well, that's a substantial order. But I see you've got a black badge. That'll be 2 gold pieces. Commission discount.
And Verdi will, not hesitating at all, take out 2 gold pieces to give to him.
Okay. You hand over the gold pieces. He hands over the goods. You have 3 large cookies, 3 skewers, and a bottle of good berry wine. As you guys move away from the cart, the meat is hot, crispy, spicy, juicy, spicy, hot, and red. And also bird. And also spicy. But it's tender. And as far as, Yanzaru food goes, it's comfort food. It's bad for you. You know it's bad for you. Vanya, the cookie, as you kind of bring it close to your face and inspect it, it has this like buttery, vanilla-y, decadent smell that you can't really put your finger on.
It is amazing.
And it's big. And as you move it around in your hand, the powder coating glitters with different colors, blues and pinks and purples, like a little galaxy of confection.
I am nibbling at the cookie and enjoying every bite of it.
As you bite into it, you're not sure if it's magical or perhaps should be banned, but something about the flavor is compulsory. I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw. Unless you're not trying to restrain yourself.
Um,
16? So, much like Reginald, do you have anything to add to it?
You know what? I think so.
Okay. You feel like Reginald a second ago kind of went cross-eyed and lulled and his knees buckled and he like made some noises that were really uncouth. You feel that start to come on. Waiting for the result.
Actually, no. My ability doesn't affect saves.
Okay. Your knees buckle. Verdi, you watch as Vanya makes some faces you haven't seen Vanya ever make. As you start to wolf down this cookie, you try to savor it and meet it out over time, but like the cocoa and the vanilla and the crunchiness and the butteriness, it's just too much. This is dangerous. This is a very dangerous cookie.
Are you gonna be okay?
You've heard stories of like witches and hags in the woods with houses made of candy and cookie, and kind of imagined like, hey, this house would probably taste like that. That's kind of where your head's going with that, but not in a bad way. In sort of like, I kind of think pink would taste like this way.
I
These
don't
only
get
come
it.
about once a year.
Yeah,
Once a year.
Bones is just like doesn't get it.
Bones doesn't get it. Bones hasn't tried one.
Bones doesn't like sweets.
Bones does not like.
You cut out.
Oh, Bones doesn't like sweets. Bones is missing out. Doesn't get sweets. All right, you guys got some food in you. We are approaching 10:30. So, who else got a euphoric cookie? Biff and Verdi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Verdi got a meat skewer and a cookie for Biff because Biff yelled in the distance and Verdi's ears pick up everything.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. As you see Vanya doing this, I need you both to roll me wisdom saves.
The 10.
That's a 10.
A chance.
It's a 16.
16. So none of you made a 17. Despite your best efforts to compose yourselves and not become complete fucking animals, Vanya, you finish your cookie. The other two are like, huh. Verdi, you try just a nibble to see what it's all about, and it clicks. Oh, this is what this is about. This is what it's always been about, Charlie Brown. And you just wolf that thing down. Biff, you're a little less conservative. You go in for a bite, and you realize, oh, this tastes like home, but in like a good way. As you guys kind of fall prey to the euphoria, you begin to lose track of time. You begin to kind of weave and bob through the festivities as the night grows long and the sky grows yet darker. Biff, occasionally throughout the evening, you see gouts of steam rising from the coast right off the bluffs. And there are people gathering and moving in that direction. There's talk about the guardian turtle being in town, watching and observing the festivities. They've come so close this time. They've never breached the land, but this time they have. Some noise and some fuss and some talk about the local turtle, the local celebrity breaching and making contact. Others hear about the festivities moving and the other carts that are being brought up, the other prize tables and the other attractions that'll come up the next morning. Bones. As everyone's kind of gathered and listening and enjoying their cookies, you catch sight of Nerixus, his piercing blue eyes catching you in the crowd. He bows his head and nods to you, and after some moments, does the kind of hiking head gesture and slips into the crowd, suggesting that you follow him.
Hey, Rich, take my animal. I'll be right back, okay?
Reg, pulled from his stupor, looks to you, clutches the doll, and nods, skewer sticking out of his mouth as he holds the giant stegosaurus and the giant spider under one arm each. Biff, were you saying something?
Biff was going to eventually start heading over to Arabag to see how he was doing.
Yeah, you start heading in that direction. Bones, you start heading to that direction. And the party seems mostly content to stay together. Reg seems content to wait for Bones. But as you guys kind of split off and continue basking in the festivity, it's 10:30. Now would be a good time to call it.
Sounds good.
Yay.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out and doing some shit. And hey, it ain't combat, but it seems like y'all had fun, so I appreciate y'all having fun with me.
I love carnivals.
Deconstructing some Carney games.
Yes.
Playing some card games. There are more Carney games, and there are 2 days left of celebrating. So,
Reliving Dom's embarrassment from King Richard's Fair.
I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to. It was asked of me by me.
Amazing.
Oh man.
I think didn't I give you that idea, or we talked about
Man.
that?
I'm sure this is convergent evolution.
I think we had a late night thought
There-
of, hey, what if?
There might have been a
this.
few people mentioning that.
There might
I
have been a few
mean,
people.
I just like got that feeling of deja vu right before it happened, and I went, oh whoa.
Oh no, it's happening. Yeah.
I hope that
So next game,
Solon doesn't let Alina sulk too much and it actually just drags her out to the carnival.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's 3 days of carnivaling.
Yeah.
Hey, I forgot to mention. Today is 2A on the 3rd of Evening. Tomorrow will be morning. Wait, is that right? No, today's Anna. Today's Anna.
Yeah, it's like Friday night, isn't it?
It's like Friday night. Tomorrow will be 2A, and then it will be morning. So there's like at least 2 more days of this shit. And on A Day, the caravan is set to leave. So there'll be more opportunities to fuck around and find out and maybe beat some carnies at their own game. And pursue some loose ends of old and new.
Leah's probably going to hear about the Euphoria cookie and wonder if that would be a good idea or not.
It is a chocolate of a kind.
Give the lich drugs.
If Leah
my
wants to
God,
pick
you
up a
did
Euphoria
that.
cookie for Adonho, I think you may make best friends with him. You can deduct a silver piece unless you're getting more things for Euphoria cookie.
I'm probably going to get a selection. Like, he said chocolate, so I'm going to try to get legit chocolates. And I will probably
Alright.
ask the vendor, like,
Oh my god.
this is
Oh
for
my
a
God.
senior. Is this a good idea?
They have little turtle clusters, but they call them Aramags.
Oh
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
Don't tell them that.
You would eat my likeness.
Little chocolate clustered Aramags.
Chocolate clustered Aramags. They've got pecans.
Amazing.
Leah
Caramel.
Ugh.
passing
and-
large on once, ask Aramag to try it. See if it is up to his greatness.
I am delicious.
yeah.
Is acceptable.
You may live for another day. Now get out of my sight.
Bring me more meat.
That is the correct answer. That is yes, truly, I am great and delicious.
I don't know why I took a sip of anything while we were having this conversation.
I'm sorry.
That was a mistake you decided to make.
That was I didn't choke
hope
and
you
I
have paper
didn't
towels.
spit and I didn't choke. I passed my will save, but it was close.
Hey, well done. Well done. Congrats.
Be a will or a constitution save.
Probably con.
Yes.
Maybe con. Yeah, choking sounds like con. Alright, guys. I'll be in IMs for a little while longer. But we'll catch up next game and probably pick up with this meeting with Chairwoman Bones?
Chairwoman Bones.
Chairwoman Bones.
I think it's gonna be
and-
Chairwoman DeFerrin, but we'll see.
Chairwoman DeFerrin. Ooh. Ooh.
I love that you decided to stream the picture of the Cobaloids.
Oh, the Cobaloid picture, yes.
Oh, that is the
So-
Cobaloids. I was wondering if that was them.
Yeah, they've gone through a couple of design revisions, but that's the basic shape. They can assume a number of different permutations of colors, shapes, and different levels of bestialness.
I mean, look at those things. Why would Alina not want to protect them with her life?
Yeah, they have definite, like, please protect me energy. They are soft-bodied. They are round, friend-shaped things with short stub tails, big hands, thin arms, and big fucking bobbleheads with big ol' eyes. So some of them are uglier than that. A lot of them are uglier than that. Some of them are cuter than that. But to that end, this picture is available to some of you in your journals.
Hey.
Alina and Karn, you have a Koboloi primer in your journals that depicts some information about these creatures, some of their history, and some of their physiology.
Sweet.
Hey.
And if people decide to share with the party, as Carrick has mentioned, I'm trusting you with this to share with who you see fit. That journal entry can be passed around.
I will
So
check
next
this
game?
out tomorrow, probably.
Word. So next game, the meeting with Torin. Next day, probably a meeting with the whole party about the travel. There are some loose ends that'll hit you guys up in IMs to remind you about in case you'd like to pursue them.
I'd like to do some retroactive rolling for Hildy with her role reversal date with Gerald.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll have time to play it out if you want.
Okay, we can play
Like
it out.
next game, like Heldy can definitely like tag along with the party or move parallel to the party. I've assumed that Heldy is within earshot, just kind of weaving back and forth, bringing her arm candy with her.
Basically.
All right, cool beans. Yeah, lots of planning, lots of fun, and more things to come in the coming days. I'll be in IMs. Thank you guys so much for playing. And that's it.
Thank you for running game.
Yes,
Have
thank
a good
you.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Let's kill that